Dzień dobry bardzo wszystkim.
Hello. It's hopeless to stand here. I can see you. Can I be looking at you then? Yeah, okay. I was already introduced, but I'll say another 2 words. I've come from Poznań, and in Poznań, together with my team, I do designing organizational culture, products and services. Organization culture can also be designed, and I will be sharing that experience with you. I design with my team, and I'm a practitioner, creativity person, and as you can hear from my voice, it's a hopeless feeling not to see you. And I'm getting stressed. I'm getting stressed for 2 reasons. The first is that I'm a bit out of my comfort zone, because normally I invite UX people to work on projects, or I work with UX projects, but I normally design products and services, and that's a new bubble for me. I'm listening to things for hours now, and I don't understand everything, and that's one of many beasts of burdens that I have. True camels, 2 humps, not dromada single. I can see that it's hard to make you laugh, and that hardly anyone here suggests some forms of involvement to you. I hope I'll have some time. That's the first reason why I'm stressed. And the second is, does anyone know corporate rebellions? Okay, there's 1 hand going up there and here, okay. 2 gentlemen who worked for many years in corpo, and they go all around the world, and they are looking for businesses that rebel, that do things otherwise. They started from Patagonia, that's obvious, but they are looking for companies. And guess what companies they found in Poland? IT. Well, IT, check, korporacyjni rebelianci, and a map of businesses that make rebellions.
In 2020, they put bullshit bingo there. So these are words, if you hear them at a conference, you need to run away, right? I believe that we've used all of them in here, so I'm really happy to still see some of you here at this presentation. Now we're going to talk about wielbłąd, which can be translated as camels into English. I'll explain why at the end of this presentation. So the first thing that you always hear is to have an interdisciplinary team. You know, it's really difficult, when people are not talking to me. I'd love to have some interaction here, but I'm not sure if I'll be successful. You know, I've collaborated with very many teams, and we've done great things. We also did things for the Tatra National Park, and once this was successful, I thought, okay, I can do everything and anything. Now, the first thing are super chickens, right? Are you experts in chickens? Okay, great, because I had this presentation and then a guy said he was an expert in chickens and he would question everything I said. Okay, so there is this biologist who dealt with evolution, and he created 2 teams of chickens. Yes, the first team, these were beautiful chickens that would lay very many eggs, right?
Because herd efficiency was measured by the number of eggs laid, and there were also those that laid hardly anything or gave average results. For 6 generations, the chicken laid as many eggs as they wanted to, and the human didn't in any way intervene, and that ended in tragedy. Only 3 survived from the super chickens. They were reducing the efficiency of the flock, and the other one was increasing the production. And it's like in the teams. In my team, I've worked for the super chickens many times, and we have that tendency to look for super chickens, so geniuses, and these geniuses sit together. Everyone is superb in their own areas, and they give no impact. So what's the thing? The super chicken thing you can hear from Margaret Heffernan. She is now a consultant, but she worked with major IT companies and who loves that sentence. I can see somebody's taking a photo. It's good to give this to companies. It's not companies that have ideas, it's people. Now, Margaret Heffernan was looking for analogies from the experiment about super chicken in human teams.
And it turned out that we very often make the same mistake. So we look for super hens, we create this perfect environment for them, but then there are no results. So I kept looking and digging in. So I came to diversity, and it's diversity when it comes to knowledge and competence of individual people in teams. And then I came across a study of two British researchers who did around 100 simulations over 12 years, and they studied teams when it comes to diversity. So they mixed them when it comes to age, gender, competence, and these people had to come up with solutions, innovative solutions over some time. Now the experiment lasted 12 years, and it turned out that the most effective teams were those who were the most diverse in terms of cognitive styles, so not knowledge or how long you've worked for a given company, but cognitive style. And this is something you can't see. Now, there are few people who use the discoveries of cognitive psychology to our everyday work. Now, if we compared our bodies to our personality, now this cognitive style is actually the color of iris. So this is how you process information, how you solve problems, and how you get other people involved in solving problems. And this is something you are born with. And it is actually there, and you can see it when kids are in kindergarten already. There's another thing, but this is something we cannot influence. We try to get involved with people who have similar cognitive styles to ours. So we create teams of people who have similar cognitive styles. And we very often treat someone who has a different cognitive style than ours as incompetent. So perhaps, well, I'm going to tell you about 4 main cognitive styles now. And, you can think that you can find out that you have all these styles. It means that you are very flexible. So in a team, we need people such as myself. So, I've prepared this presentation, but I'm freestyling here too a bit. So people who love creating new ideas, who have this popcorn in their head. So there's this one idea, another one, everybody thinks it's already over, but there are more ideas there. So, you've already started designing something, then your boss comes back from the holiday and they change everything and turn everything upside down. But they were born with it, okay? If you have such people in your teams, ask them about their declarations, right? But in such teams, we also need people And I must say that I've never taken such people to my teams for the past 10 years because I found them incompetent. So these are people who are very insightful, who ask very many questions, who do Excel sheets for unobvious things, who plan things very well, who make plans to your plans because they love planning, but they also stop teams at moments when it's absolutely necessary. And I've always found such people incompetent, and that's why, because this cognitive style is very much different from mine. But we do need such people in our teams. We also need people who can set goals very quickly and keep telling us, in which direction we're going. They love action. They hate talking. They want to get to action instantly. And I know very many teams that have the majority of such super hens, so the ones who have this cognitive style. But we also need those who have high social competence, who have high empathy, who make sure there are some rituals in the teams, and they make sure that there's right communication in the team. So if the team is down, this is the first person who makes it get up, and it is this person who gets involved the most. So, being aware of these cognitive styles is a step forward. And you cannot build on similarities, but on tensions. Now, if you think that there's this team with diverse cognitive styles, so there are people who keep saying, let's move on, but there are also those who are going to say, no, let's wait, because we haven't checked everything. So tensions begin, but they are only natural. Without these tensions, we cannot design good things. Now, trust the process. Is there anyone who hasn't heard this slogan before? It's a slogan that's kept, that I found very inconvenient at the beginning. And then I read a book. This is the guy that all of you know because he's come up with the greatest stories and fairy tales. He combined Pixar with Disney. And just see what he wrote about this slogan. So the slogan, trust the process, has turned into, let's assume that the process will do everything for us. That gave us hope that we needed, but at the same time it made us passive. Now, Ed Catmull tells us how to free ourselves from this slogan, how to make sure that teams make decisions. Now, because of this slogan, people don't ask difficult questions. They don't do iterations. So I recommend this book to you if you like audiobooks. It's also in this format too. And let me come back to Margaret Heffernan. She's written a lot in this tiny book called Niemierzalne in Polish. And she says that you build trust by asking questions and not giving ready answers. And you can find more information on how to build such teams in this book. Another mistake that people make is putting customers or making customers the center of attention. Yes, customers are extremely important. Studies are important. Qualitative studies are important. But is it the customer who's only important in this design process? you know, the people for whom we design are important too. A bank has told me that if
władowali w podwyżki dla obsługi klienta, to czy by nie był lepszy efekt?
Well, they were wondering that maybe if they had spent all this money that they spent on improving client service, on actually paying people who provide services to clients more, maybe the result would have been better.
Jak wspomóc taki zespół?
Now, how to support such a team?
Długo opowiadać, ale stwierdziłam, że podam wam takie 3 tipy.
I decided I would give you 3 tips here. So, live team canvas. This is something that very many people use. It's ready there on your mural. You know, you can download it, but it has to be live. So you should be able to add points there, deduct some, ask different questions. And then you can't do it once. It should be there and you should repeat it every 3 months, for example. And you have to check whether things have changed in this team canvas. Another thing is creative rituals. Now let me focus on 2 of them. The first one, now Pinterest, it has this huge ritual. They're big and small rituals. So in Pinterest they have this ritual called knit.com. So there's this whole process of how to organize one day for a company where there are more than 100 people, when people can exchange knowledge. Now, another ritual, which I find really great and that I try to implement in my team is celebrating failures. Okay? Everybody celebrates successes. But what about celebrating those who have failed? We keep saying that we develop through making mistakes. So why not celebrating a mistake or a failure? Now, Ben & Jerry's, okay, we know these companies and their ice cream. And they have this graveyard where they actually put all the flavors of the ice cream that have failed for them. So it's a great artifact just showing that this company makes mistakes. We know that they put very different things into their ice creams. Now recently a team has asked me whether going to Żabka store on Friday to buy food was a kind of ritual. And I said yes. It's good supporting such rituals. So just ask yourselves what kind of rituals you have, and well, you can create new rituals that will enhance your creativity and the design process. And then radical openness and honesty, which is connected with feedback. Now we've had this study in Concordia, and this month we'll be publishing a report on our collaboration with the press. And it turns out that, you know, everybody says that, okay, they have feedback, but when you actually check it, it turns out that this is not really feedback. So statuses, you know, between people are very often seen as feedbacks, but this is not actually feedback. I like what Kim Scott writes about feedback. I don't remember the title in Polish because it's been really badly translated. But now, a sandwich is not feedback, okay? Sandwich means manipulation, you know, sandwich meaning saying something good, at the beginning, then something bad in the middle, and ending with something good. Okay, so this is not feedback, this is manipulation.
A client in the center of focus. We have stakeholders who are new, not only the ones we designed for. Look, the resources today, who said that on that stage? Sebastian, yes. That was Sebastian who spoke of sustainable development. I'm happy that we have this green UX entering, but we still have no tools for that. What tools to include in the design process so that the earth is in the center of interest, like the human and the client. There is that person, Monika Schnell. She made that stakeholder map where she broke them into human and non-human, and that was a big question mark for me. But I went a step further, and it's the persona of soil, of fauna, flora, the Baltic Sea, and I break it according to those points you can see here. I humanize it, and I share information because we, hardly any of us, have information about those individual stakeholders. Every person designing things tried to place those into the circle of stakeholders, including the ones they designed for. So that's an absolutely new approach to the client. The fourth burden is my favorite because, as I said, I have been creative for more than 20 years, and I hear that the stage of ideation is the brainstorm. I enter a team for a brainstorm, and it's never a brainstorm. A brainstorm was invented by, it's a tip for you, by Mr. Oswald, not and that was called the method of delayed valuation, and that's why it was changed into brainstorm. But delayed valuation is everything. There must be 2 stages with a break, and the assessment comes only in the second stage. Only then you have a brainstorm. Not entering the ideas, that's criticism, and that's no brainstorm at all. In the first stage, we write down all concepts, all ideas. It's very difficult for everyone. What else hurts in this stage of ideation? Major threat if these are decision makers. We enter a process with ideas and we prove, as somebody said in the other room, that that concept is good by making studies only to prove that it is the best possible concept. Writers said that to reach really good ideas, you've got to kill several of your lovers' ideas. But if at the end of the process I ask the team whether we have killed some favorite processes and they say yes, it means that this is a good process. I can speak a lot about creativity, but what I would like to allow, well, creativity is not a gift from God, from the Academy of Fine Arts. That's something that we are all born with. Only parents and school destroy that in us. Some with a layer of concrete, others with just some sand. Being creative makes you even win through that concrete, drill through it with a power drill. Now, that is a definition of psychology of creation. That's a Krakow professor. If you want to be creative, read books by Professor Schmidt. Plenty of exercises on how to practice your creativity, how to exercise it. Some tips from me. The first, to practice creativity, you can. There are definitely athletes here. Coach it like you do while practicing your sport. Start from a warm-up. A warm-up can be a board game. There are often teams that play in the evenings. Why not to include board games into it? Dixit is number 1 when working on creativity, but to me it's number 2 because it teaches one of it's number 2 because tainiacy is number 1. Do you know tainiacy? Tainiacy is thinking in associations, and I know that this is also the problem, so as not to enter into certain techniques. That's a great warm-up. Improvisation is a warm-up, not public speaking. Improvising, my friend from the team, Bart Jurkowski, says that improvising is competention al dente, neither hard nor soft. And I love thinking about it like that, and often we include improvisation techniques into design, and we break the system and the team in this way. I wanted to invite you to one of those games, but we'll fall short of time. So it's this warm-up and then creative techniques, plural, not a single. I know about 300 creative techniques, the pyramid of associations that works for every case, and every team flows on it and create morphologic box, Pinocchio. There's 635 technique. There are plenty of techniques used for business, and brainstorm doesn't have to be the only ideation technique. So ask what techniques you use and what you know. Chupa Chups is easiest, my favorite brand. Nobody pays me for that, but it's been proved. Brain remembers experiences, also experiences of running around with a lollipop. If you have a white piece of paper, Chupa Chups releases the experience of childhood, and we have ideas that you wouldn't be able to do without it. I can go on about techniques. Unfortunately, Ken Robinson died 2 years ago. Hardly anyone knows. He's Sir Ken Robinson, got his title from the Queen. In most commissions on education and creativity in the US, he's been there. Great man, read his books and read this quote: creativity is not going beyond imagination. You need to experiment, seek, and act, and that's the key. And now the last favorite mistake or burden. I've got 5 more minutes. Cool. Okay. In the word wielbłąd, there is an error. Not a wielki błąd. We even have a camel icon on our messenger, and we often use it. And I say that to do good design, you need to have a caravan of those wielbłąds, and you've got to go with many of them. And I believe that I'm going to go through many such caravans. Now, learn the skill of making mistakes. I hear that, yes, you can make mistakes with us, for only one. The second is out of the organization. Oh, yes, you can make a mistake if it doesn't cost. What's the intention of the mistake? That's the first question. And 2, how to evaluate them so as not to multiply them. If you don't like reading it, it's not a book. These are just fiches. How to make errors, Rafał Żak. You can just draw them one a day. Highly inspiring. And the last question, but do you know, what is the best sector in making errors? Who said that? Yes, aviation, because if you've made it, you need to learn. Yes, aviation, and this is what Rafał Żak writes about a lot. I wish you that you reach those successful design processes, and that on your way you meet some of those failed processes. Oof, how much more time do I have? Great, okay. So I now encourage test for the UX public. I'm not going to tell you at which conference we made it. Who wants to play that game on the stage? I need 5 people. My God, would I have to drag you from the audience? Don't be afraid, please. That's going to be a very good experience for the people who like to know. Is that you? We'll manage, we'll cope. Okay, do we have 5? Okay, a big round of applause to the courageous ones. And now, improvisation games in business are to learn working with what's going on around us. You know what's happening. We can't be ready for anything because there's constant change. So that's what improv games get us ready for. Now, this exercise is called a Vista narrative. I'm coming off that stage. I don't feel well here. You helped me, you smiled. Who or what is the hero? Who or what is the hero? Just invent anything. Who? The Earth. Okay. What's the problem of the Earth? It can't find fish. Where's the fish? Where's the Earth? Will our sound technician tell us? Natalia, where is the Earth? Under the Earth. The Earth is under the Earth, and what? It can't find fish. Okay. You are now the narrator. No, you can't get ready because you don't know what they are going to do. When I clap, the tail goes on to the following person. Okay, clear? Narrator. We're talking about the Earth that has a problem, and you start. When I clap, the next person takes over. Long, long time ago, there was the Earth. It didn't exist here. It exists under the ground, and it had a bad problem. That problem was big enough that it caused a new religion as its main assumption were the fish in the household, underground household. And the ground was its founder, its main priest. And as we know, fishing tackle is not cheap, so the main problem of the Earth was to obtain fish. And to obtain fish, you need to obtain tackle, and it was produced by the fish. They evolved very quickly, and the Earth was evolving, and the fish kept pace, and they were walking very fast in that evolution. Okay, now episode 2. Now working with limitations. There are limitations. What letter can't you use? Okay. You know what consonants are. Okay, P. You mustn't use words that start with P, and I take away from you the word ziemia and words starting with P. Yeah, okay. Remember, fish created tools in a hard way, so everyone was dissatisfied with them. That was uncanny, as fish are not made to create various objects, as they have, instead of hands, they have other specialized appendages. In Polish, fins is P. Appendages to move under the water. You made it. Yes. Big round of applause for that chap. You made it. And there is a prize. Other specialized tools for creative and recreative activities, even if these activities were very slow. Their efficiency still surprised the human species. Okay, you can't start with D. So no D, no P, and no Earth. They surprised the human species. And what we are talking about now contained only 3 episodes. The last of them required that the fish created an interdisciplinary team. Oh, you're dead. You used D, sorry. No D, no P, no Ziemia, no Earth. That's the last episode. Anything can happen. Come on. The episode was... sorry. One more letter. Which letter? Okay, which letter? Any letter. K. No P, no D, no K. You go. It was issued in intervals, in a way making... Let it go, let it go. Trouble. No, trouble, sorry. T is out. Okay, you're out.
Puściłam cię pod autobus, przepraszam.
Okay. In improvisation, there's this principle of the noble knight. He knows he's going on, but he does. There was Grażyna by Mickiewicz. She already knew she was dying, but she was going on. She is now like Grażyna. She knows she's gonna die, but she's going on. No D, no P, no K, no Earth.
Mówiliśmy o religii.
We spoke
Prawda?
of religion. Haven't we? Sorry. Okay, thank you very much. And I recommend such warm-up for the stage of ideation. If you want presentation, there's my email at the end. Just ask me for it. Can I have you on the stage because we may have questions? We have 5 more minutes. Perhaps there's a question to Sylwia. Do we have questions to Sylwia? I can see a hand up in the air. We've learned a lot about creativity, but there was also about building on tensions, and that this is creative as well. So a question, how do you try to find those golden means building a team on tensions? For that, you need to make sure everyone is psychologically safe. If it is ensured, and there is this foundation of trust, you can build it. If not, tensions will make people escape, go to other teams. So that's the psychological safety is key. I have one more question. Sylwia, you mentioned cognitive styles. What to do so that they are not an enemy, and they tell us that you're not in a cognitive style. How not to fall for that trap? That's a problem of labeling. I work with Prism, and that's my major problem in young teams, that who don't have the blue, they don't give me Excels, and I make great Excels, and I've gone through maths and physical class. Who doesn't believe that there are no structures? You need to be very wise, including talking about creative or cognitive styles. I'm against it. There are organizations where Gallup and Discovery results are on the website, that people have it so that others know. No, I want cognitive styles to be used for operating manual of the human. You can return to it working with teams. I know that people return to those at the moments of tension. So yes, you're right, this is a problem. Thank you. Do we have anyone else there at the back? I'd like to say hello to my team there in the office, and I promised to them that if I ask any question, they'll bake a cake, so there will be a cake with white chocolate. My question is, you mentioned cognitive styles and that they should be different. When did you learn that you have people with similar cognitive goals and you don't work some of them out? And what did you do to those people? Oh, I sacked them. No, of course not. Speaking of those styles is very difficult. When I realized that I don't have blue, I started to employ so much blue that I didn't have enough. Now I don't have green, so it's continuous work with those styles. Now it's 20% in my team's decision making. It's not so that if I don't have somebody in the blue perspective, I'm not going to take a step. No, I believe this is key. Have I answered your question? I have. Good. Perhaps no, but perhaps yes. Okay. Let's see. Thank you very much, Sylwia. A big round of applause.